Oh no, you're hulked out. Your Hulk's gone.
Oh, no. It's the Black Hulk. Where is he? There he is. Damn right.
We're going to get into our most disliked Marvel movies. This excluding the MCU. We're gonna do that in a future episode, possibly, or whatever. Talk about our most disliked Marvel movies. We are coming off of March Marvel Madness, as you will see this video, anyway. Coming off of that, so you got all those Marvel stuff coming out, and I did put a poll. Not put a poll, but I put a post out on Facebook. Just getting everyone's general feel. Like, oh, what's your most disliked Marvel film that's not in the MCU? And a lot of people said the new Fantastic Four movie, that one that came out in 2015.
The Silver Surfer one?
No, the one after that.
Yeah, wow. Yeah.
A lot of people said that.
Yeah.
They are not good. So, William, we're going to start out with your, what's going to take up your number 3 spot?
Well, I hate to say this because he's actually he is one of my favorite characters. Now, I never read him because I forget exactly when he came out, but I didn't read him when I was a kid. I read him in the 80s. The Punisher, starring Dolph Lundgren and Lou Gossett Jr. Now, I'm only putting it as the third one only because Lou Gossett was in it. And I really like Lou Gossett Jr. because he's a really great actor, an Oscar-winning actor from Officer and a Gentleman, which is sad he's in this movie. And I even liked him in Iron Eagle, the first one. The other ones, I think he was just getting a paycheck. But the reason why I put this in the third one was, first of all, a big round of applause for them trying to. Now, you go. So you get the clip of that's the knife, and it's got the skull on the knife hilt. That was the only reference they had of the Punisher's kind of skull symbol, and the wow. From my reckoning of, because I think it came out in 1989, came out in 89. And I do think it was one of the better versions in terms of the actor, because Dolph Lundgren, I mean, he looks grizzled, and I mean the hair, of course, is the '80s hair, but but he looks. They made him look probably. Like, he looks. Look was I mean, and his like the sunken eyes, like I think he pulled it off physically, because he of all the people who've ever played the Punisher so far, he's physically closest to the actual Marvel character, because Frank Castle was like a 6'+ guy. Yeah. Whereas John Bernthal is shorter than me. I think he's like 5'9" or something. Which again, nothing bad against him. I just don't think he really looks the part in that way. I just don't think physically he has it, because if you look at the comics, it always got people more beefy than it is. Right. But yeah, this movie was written and rewritten and rewritten and rewritten so many times. It was just unreal. And I don't have the actual stuff pulled up. I was kind of trying to see if I can pull it real quick, but either way, they have rewritten it so many times that they actually got rid of almost everything. So basically, instead of it, other than it being called the Punisher and them referring to the Punisher and the skull, it would just be generic, bad vigilante gunman. I think is what we called it, because you wouldn't know. And so unfortunately, it just wasn't treated well. Yeah, gotcha. I mean, it's like a lot of the early Marvel movies. It's like, let's do this, but let's change a lot. Yes. And then we'll call it this, but it's not that.
But it's not.
Like, so why even do that?
Exactly.
I don't know. Just call it Vigilante Gunman. And
exactly.
Then
make up your own property.
Or like, back in the 70s, I think it was like the Executioner guy with the flamethrower or whatever. Just create a different thing and call it that.
Yeah, exactly. What's going to take up my number 3 spot is actually on both of our lists. I think it's actually, I don't know if it's going to be your which one it's going to be. Yeah. But taking up my number 3 spot is 1990 Captain America. Yeah. This movie, I've already reviewed this movie once, but my main things was like, Captain America's not a hero in this movie at all. And he spends most of the movie running away. He steals cars, and it's silly, it's 90s silly and stuff like that. I get what the campy nature that they were trying to go for.
That costume is just the worst.
Yeah, it just see if I get I think I got a better picture. Yeah, that's he looks like you don't want to be.
I know that's a perfect look. He's like, why am I wearing this thing? I can't breathe. My skin, I'm dying here.
Yeah, and it's just It's everything's rushed in it really quick. It's just like, oh, we got to get from point A to point B and everything,
Right.
and it doesn't. It's not like they really took time to figure out how they were going to do certain things.
Right.
There could have been so much done with this that should have been better. But it was just like, all right, yeah, y'all didn't even try. Y'all didn't even care.
And I think didn't we mention this earlier before we started? It was one of the Golan Globus guys was one of the producers, one of the Israeli, I think, because they produced like Cyborg back in the '80s and Invasion USA, kind of those Golan Globus, and what was that other movie with Chuck Norris in it? Kind of, he was rescuing hostages. Anyway, so he was one of the producers. Yeah, I'm the Red Skull. I'm like, wow. It's like Paul Lynn is the Red Skull. Hi, guys. I'm the Red Skull. I'm like, wow. Yeah, this one.
That's not...
the more I see this, the more I just want to cry because Captain America is my super, super favorite. I think Spider-Man comes in a close second. But dang, wow. Yeah. And here's the thing. I grew up I'm a little older than you. So when I saw like Red Brown playing the Captain America from the late 70s, that was way better than this version. Yeah. And this was in the 80s or 90s. 90s. I'm like, this is like almost 15, almost 20 years later. Like, why isn't it way better? Because the 70s was better because he had the van, he had the motorcycle, he would come shooting out of the back of the van. Yeah. He had the shield. The shield was like a plexiglass clear thing, but that's what they could do back then. And he had like the helmet. I mean, I mean, his costume looked a little better. It looked kind of Evil Knievel-ish in a way, but it looked better in many ways. Oh,
he was at least a hero in that one.
Yeah.
He was doing stuff. He was saving people. You know, it's just like this. I can't say that about this one, so that's unfortunate.
And I think, but the other thing was they actually, if I remember correctly, they actually did take more from the actual story of Captain America, because I remember there was a storyline where I think Cap was, I don't know if he was separated from the whole Captain America thing or SHIELD or what have you, but he was driving around the country in his van. There was a whole storyline. It kind of took that because if you remember vaguely that, you know, the Red Brown character of Captain America was sort of driving around the Southwest with this thing. And so that they kind of borrowed the storyline. So they actually kind of stayed truer than this horrible, awful mess. But I don't know.
All right.
Oh,
so,
Lord.
What's going to take your number 2 spot? You're with more meetings than one there.
Well, 2 times 2 is 4, and yeah, there we go. Wow, I love the Jay Underwood, the Johnny Torch on the right. I mean, because both Mr. Fantastic character and Johnny Storm character have the big kind of
the
poofy
hair.
80s hair. I mean, the lady has less 80s hair than the 2 guys, if you can believe that.
Surprisingly, yeah.
I know. I'm like, how does that even work? I don't know. So yeah, wow. So yeah, there's really nothing I can say other than look at the thing, and that's about it. I mean, I don't honestly. I mean, the Silver Surfer one was better than this without a doubt. I mean, it was just like, holy cow. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
and it was direct to video, so it was, even they realized. I think it was like a $10 million budget.
It was really small. I don't remember what it was.
But then it made like $10,000 or some crazy thing or something.
It was like they
hang
didn't.
on, I got it right here. I think.
Roger Corman.
No, actually, they only had $1 million budget. Okay. I don't know how much.
I knew their budget was really small.
Yeah, so. I don't know how much it made because they don't put numbers that small on here apparently. So
maybe a few dollars.
Yeah. No, it was the Captain America that had a $10 million budget. I think.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll get back to that.
Yeah. My big number 2 is going to go towards the travesty that was the Amazing Spider-Man 2.
The Rhino. I love the Rhino. Yeah. Wow.
I think it was myself, you, and JJ. Was there anyone else with us?
It might have been. It might. I don't know.
Yeah, it was just 3 of us went to go see this movie, and we were just kind of like, oh, well, we enjoyed each other's company.
Yeah.
And then I was just kind of when I left, I was like, it has a lot of problems, but I'm like, it's fine. And then I watched it again, and I was like, nope, this is pretty bad. And then I watched it again. I'm like, wow, this is a travesty.
It is. And I got to be honest with you, because you're talking about Jessica Alba almost quitting. I'm surprised Paul Giamatti didn't quit acting after this because, yes, he was playing completely against his typecast because I ended up playing in John Adams, I think, on HBO or something. And it actually is a really good series. I like American history anyway. But I mean, he did really well. In the few movies he did, I mean, he's usually a pretty good actor because he's mostly a dramatic actor, but he kind of plays the every guy, every man a little bit, but then he kind of throws his own little thing into it where he's kind of downtrodden or whatever. But yeah, he's always interesting, except for in this movie. He was not interesting to watch because I'm like,
well, that, and he was only in it for like, he was in the very beginning and at the very end. Yeah, he wasn't in it for very long.
No.
The one who was actually the most pissed off after this movie, besides most of the fans, was Andrew Garfield. He was actually the most pissed off after this movie because like they really didn't know what they were doing. It's like you see some of the deleted scenes, you're just like, where was this even going to go? Yeah. Where were you going with this?
Oh, his dad at the end.
There was one that had his dad in it. There was, I'm just like, where were you going with this?
Wow.
Why? There's just so much. There's so many things going on in this movie, and it hurt me more because I genuinely liked the first movie. It's not great.
It was good for a remake. Yeah, considering how quickly. Because I'll be honest with you,
actually 5 years after the third Spider-Man,
after the Sam Raimi ones. Again, in my opinion, the first two ones are really, really the best in my opinion. Spider-Man. The third one, like you said, is kind of a hot mess, kind of like this one is, because they were trying to do too much. And although I did like the Sandman character,
yes,
and it's funny because I actually liked him more. And felt really bad for him.
I did.
Because of everything. Yeah. I mean, just the way they actually put it together as him, getting, accidentally changed into the Sandman and with him trying to pick up the locket and everything. I'm like, damn, this is heavy.
Yeah.
But with Peter Parker walking down like, hey. And I'm like, okay, that's really counterbalanced.
Yeah.
Really not swinging the other way very well.
Yeah. And this movie, unfortunately, there's nothing in here that really makes you laugh, kind of like that. Like with the Spider-Man 3, it's like, okay, you can look at that Peter Parker scene with him walking, especially the one with no music. It's hilarious. But there's nothing in this movie that you can really do that with. I guess you could do it with the Rhino because he's playing so much of a cartoon. But the problem with the film, many problems, but one of the main problems, like it's so inconsistent. It's like, oh, it's a dramatic movie in 1 second, and the next second it's a Saturday morning cartoon. It's like you go from two ends of the spectrum. You do it so much, and then you said it like, I forget what movie we were watching, and then you said it afterward. He was talking about Amazing Spider-Man 2. He was just like, I don't know where the chemistry went between Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone or whatever.
Right.
It just wasn't there. And I'm like, I agree, it wasn't.
Well, and here's the thing. They were dating. They were dating.
Yeah.
So maybe they weren't anymore, or maybe, I don't know, they were kind of in the midst of, I don't know, maybe he was upset, because he was like, this is crap.
Yeah.
And he didn't then there was a whole issue, and I don't know.
Yeah, I think they both were, and they didn't have any really lines to chew on or anything.
Right.
Everyone was trying to do, I will say this, everyone was trying to do their best with what they were told to do and what they were given, but you could tell like no one was really having fun. And it was like, man, it was really messed up. So that's my big number 2 right there. So we're gonna backtrack a little bit. We're gonna go to a number 1. I know what your number 1 is because we just talked about it.
Yes, I mean, again, in terms of my favorite Marvel characters, he is number 1 in terms of my favorite. Just because I was as a kid I would collect bottles and cans to return and get money to buy comic books, and I would always get the Captain America, the thumbs up there, that horrible thing. When I saw it, I was actually excited. I was like, oh, Captain America, cool. And then I saw this and I was like, you're dead to me.
Man.
And this was the one. And this was the one. I was like, Punisher, come back. Because the Punisher at that point, because the Punisher with Dolph Lundgren came out before this, which was way better in terms of the look. And this was just was awful. This one's the one that had a $10 million budget that made about $10,000. Back. Which again, I'm surprised it made $10,000. But hey, I rented the video, so I was part of that. Yeah. So and this is your number 1.
Yes.
Oh, really? This one?
This one.
Really?
Yes. This is my most hated movie.
Is it really? Wow.
Yes, my most hated Marvel movie is not this. This is X-Men 3. Yeah. They and I gave this movie a second chance.
Right.
Like, I watched this movie the first time in theaters, and I left so angry because I was just like, y'all have ruined the characters. What did you do? You know, I'm just like, we had these we had three-dimensional characters. I would say that. From the first two movies, we had some very three-dimensional characters. They get rid of that in the third movie. In the third movie, they're very one note. You know, like they're cardboard cutouts.
Right.
That's what I would definitely say. They turned Magneto, who was this very layered villain. Oh, now he's this, you know, speech spewing, you know, one-dimensional villain giving, you know, TV announcements and stuff like he's the freaking Joker. And I'm like, why? Why would you do this? And this was at the time, like, this was before I could really say that I was truly separating comic from film. And I knew the two that they were going with, which was The Cure, you know, The Mutant Cure, which is a comic story that's in X-Men, Astonishing X-Men, written by Joss Whedon, ironically.
Wow.
And then they had the original, like the old Dark Phoenix saga. These are two very important and very emotional stories, and they just squandered them.
Yeah.
Squandered them. And I'm just like, you gave them, like, no one has any really, like, I mean, every movie, despite what you may think, every movie, sequels, whatever, has some form of character development, some form of growth. You don't have that in X3.
Right.
It's gone from X3. I mean, some of the effects, I will admit, they're fine. They're cool. The X-Men actually fighting alongside each other and actually, you know, that was cool because you had that in the first one somewhat. They got their ass kicked a lot.
Yeah, I know. It's like...
the second one, everyone was really separated, but that really kind of promoted that tension because they were all separated from each other. The third one, I will admit, that is the one good thing, is like you had all the X-Men fighting together against the Brotherhood. And I was like, okay, that's the one good thing about this film. Other than that, like, it's hard for me to be objective about this because I feel like you were building such a good franchise and building such good characters, and I was so loving it. And then when this movie came out, I'm like, and I, like, this is the one movie I will refuse to buy. One movie. Because I collect I have Amazing Spider-Man 2, and I don't like that movie, but I collect them. This is the one movie I refuse to buy. I'm like, nope, I will not do it. I will not do it. A friend, when I was working at the college at Pitt, a friend asked me, and she was like, hey, do you have all the X-Men films, right? And I said, I have most of them.
All but one.
Yeah, I said, I have everything but one. I'm like, you're going to have to rent that or something. I'm not getting that movie.